Here is an example where Draftscience takes a video out of context and then displays a double standard. In response to a couple of experiments I showed, Draftscience references a video by another YouTube user Stephen Brough saying it contradicts mainstream physics and conclusively vindicates him. However, he leaves crucial parts of the video out, and as a result he distorts the conclusion to make it falsely seem like it supports him. Consider a lever with a 2x mass object at 1x radial distance and a lever with a 1x mass object at 2x radial distance, and suppose we push on the lever from one side using a compressed spring. Since the same energy is delivered to both setups, Gary uses the wrong notion of energy E equals mv to conclude that the 1x mass should be launched with twice the velocity. In support of this claim, he references the video by Stephen Brough.
So he's going to get a difference because of that. All right, so we'll do Brough's first, and it's pretty conclusive evidence, okay? So you put a 2 mass here, and it goes 1/2 the speed. So you do the experiment, same compression of the spring. So you compress the spring, the same amount for both experiments. You compress it to, say, this distance. You move the lever here, and you put a 2 mass here, and you get a speed. And then you put a 1 mass out here, and you get a speed. And this is obviously twice the velocity, okay? But this goes. All right, you got numbers 19 and 11, pretty close to 2 to 1. So this is Brough's experiment, the one you got to duplicate or prove broken, okay? Because it basically proved the point that the same force, okay, produces 2 different amounts of energy. And in this case, twice as much energy over here. Okay. So I just put the mass further out, I get twice as much energy out of the same spring compression. Doesn't make any sense. Isn't a conservation of momentum because I would compress the spring by dropping the masses. And obviously I would drop this one from 4 times the height, I would drop this one 1 unit of height, and I would compress the spring the same amount because it's a weight. All right. So they haven't fixed any of this. Let's save that name for posterity. So he says, great efforts you make, Steve. The better these videos get. So the video absolutely proves free energy by the kinetic energy formula. He shows an experiment that just overtly proves it. And he's saying, great job. And then he's wondering, he's calling somebody else thick and clueless? I mean, fuck. All right, more accurate, better mechanisms, honing it down on the truth. The more he will decry them. Well, I'm not decrying this one. I'm sitting there showing it, saying, look, he just proved me right. What's the argument? Where's the argument here? He just put up a video and he's too stupid to realize he just proved me right. All right, that doesn't matter because these videos are a resource for anyone who wants to know the truth. Well, this video is. I could think outside the cult. Yeah, the cult of kinetic energy, because obviously he just made free energy. So, I mean, he does a video where he puts the 2 mass here and the 1 mass out here, okay, twice the distance, and he gets pretty close to 2 to 1 results, right? 19 and 11. So this one takes 19 ticks to hit the same spot, the other one takes 11 ticks to hit the same spot. 2 to 1, pretty much decisive. So there's a little spring over here, there's the same distance moved. I mean, it pretty much proves the point. There's nowhere anything close to kinetic energy being rational. The same spring compression creates 2 completely different energies. One of them has 80%, whatever the right number you want to use, right? It's not twice the energy, it's 1.9 more energy. Okay, so how do you explain that? What's your brilliant explanation, fuckheads? I mean, you keep making this argument that this doesn't happen, and yet it's shown right in front of you it happens. Why are you pretending this idiotic video somehow is a proof? So again, no one else commented on it, because I guess others could figure out, ooh, looks like Gary's right, except this idiot. All right, so on this video is whatever it is, 6 months ago. 6 months ago. All right. So that didn't happen. Let's understand the Brough video, when he did do the experiment to see how much energy, okay, how much velocity the lever produces, it produced the 2 to 1 relationship. The 2 mass billiard ball moved with half the velocity of the half mass billiard ball. Fact. Half as massive. So again, Brough's own experiment made it pretty clear. You have to explain why that experiment was a piece of shit, and then you have to explain why they don't redo it in some better way. All right.
Gary insists that this result hasn't been explained by his critics. The problem is, the ratio of velocities isn't anywhere near what he claims they are. In Gary's prediction, the ratio of velocities should be 2 to 1. In the mainstream physics prediction, with the idealization that the lever has negligible mass compared to the pool balls, the ratio of velocities should be 1.4 to 1. Now what result did Stephen Brough actually get?
So the greens average 19.75 launched on their own, and Gary would say that the yellows, being half mass and twice as far along the lever, should go twice the speed. But in fact, let's see what they actually did go. So I divide 19.75 divided by 11.65 equals, so 1.698. I call it 1.7, so 1.7. So the yellow ball actually went 1.7 times the speed.
So we see that the ratio is actually 1.7 to 1, which is precisely between the 2 predictions. How is this conclusive for Gary's prediction? The ratio is literally halfway between the 2 different predictions. Now here is something else. Stephen Brough himself actually addresses why the ratio 1.7 does not match 1.4. Although his specific argument that one end of the lever needs to be cut halfway for the 2x mass is not true, he rightfully points out that the lever can take up non-negligible mass of the entire setup. This means that you should not expect an exact 1.4 ratio outcome.
Times faster. Excess lever mass probably accounts for the result not being closer to 1.4, because ideally half the lever could have been cut off while launching the full mass, because the excess length then serves no useful purpose and only slows the lever down as if it was still launching the unused part of the lever at 2 times the velocity relative to the full mass.
However, Gary has been pretty clear about his prediction.
Experiment, same compression of the spring. So you compress the spring the same amount for both experiments. You compress it to, say, this distance. You move the lever here, and you put a 2 mass here, and you get a speed. And then you put a 1 mass out here, and you get a speed. And this is obviously twice the velocity, okay, that this goes. All right, you got numbers 19 and 11, pretty close to 2 to 1.
His prediction is that you should see the 1x mass at 2x distance get launched at twice the velocity as the mass in the other case, which means the lever should have exactly the same angular velocity in both cases. Here is Ian Ghostling showing that this does not happen.
2 springs, the same force applied to both levers. It should be quite clear that the one mass accelerates faster than the half mass, so it's not going at twice the speed as the half mass. There's nothing wrong with kinetic energy formula there, but there's no break in the conservation of energy. More importantly, you can't get any extra energy out of this system, as somebody was claiming, because they would need to be, both levers would need to be accelerating at the same rate and the same velocity. They'd have to be in line so that this weight would be going twice the speed of this, and it doesn't.
So Gary makes a completely wrong assertion about Stephen Brough's results, falsely saying they support him when they clearly don't. He completely ignored the fact that the lever could take up a non-negligible amount of mass, which Stephen Brough pointed out in the very video Gary references. And both Stephen Brough's and Ian Gosling's videos contradict Gary. Does Gary still want to say Stephen Brough's video is conclusive, or does he want to make a retraction? I suspect I know the answer, assuming Gary is even halfway honest. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment if you want anything clarified.